Welcome back, guys, to the Robot Master Weapons only run of Mega Man 3 for the NES. We are now getting ready to start the Doc Robot stages. I remember back in the day whenever I actually used to follow a set stage order whenever I played through Mega Man 3, I always started with Doc Sparkman. I don't know why, I just always did. We have a little forced rush usage area here. Gotta use rush coil. There we go. Either use Shadow Blade, Gemini Laser, or Hard Knuckle to bypass this enemy. Since we just now got Shadow Blade, we haven't seen any usage of it, so I'm going to use it some throughout this area. It's got really good energy to it. It's really energy efficient. But that doesn't mean that I'm only going to use the Shadow Blade, because the whole point of this run is to use all the Robot Master weapons. We'll use Gemini Laser some throughout this next area. I always liked the idea behind the Doc Robots. Just being able to take the abilities of past Robot Masters was always cool to me. And missile denied. Oh! Ah, good old Gemini Laser. Embarrassing the bad guys since 1990. And here we have the Doc Robot that's going to use Metal Man's abilities. Just use the Magnet Missile on him. He goes down easy. As a matter of fact, in my opinion, I find the Metal Man Doc Robot to be even easier than the Mega Man 2 Metal Man, to be honest. Because there is no conveyor and you can just keep your distance. You can really shoot from just about anywhere because the Magnet Missile will home in on him. So really, he's a little bit easier than the Mega Man 2 Metal Man, in my opinion. I'm going to give Topspin some usage throughout this area. Another thing that I always liked about the Doc Robot stages is seeing the stages that you just went through and all the destruction that's happened to them, or everything that's changed. You see the most destruction in this stage, in my opinion. Like earlier in the stage, I'm sure that you've seen like different platforms that have been destroyed and stuff. Like at the very beginning of the stage, whenever we had to use rush coil because there was no ladder or anything. Just stuff like that. Just keep on moving, don't let these junk blocks build up too high, just get on them and slide. I always found it weird that whenever you slide on those junk blocks, the screen kinda goes weird for a second. And now it's time for the Doc Robot that takes on Quickman's abilities. Of all the Doc Robots, I'd say either Doc Quickman or Doc Woodman is the hardest. It's really kinda hard for me to decide. Because, if you know what to do in the battle against Doc Quickman, like even if you can't dodge him very well, so long as you just take damage from his quick boomerangs, then he's actually not all that bad. But since the Doc Robots are tall and wide, it also means that the Leaf Shield is also taller and wider, which makes the Leaf Shield pretty tricky to dodge, in my opinion, which is why I find Woodman to be the hardest of all the Doc Robots. I think we're going to start off by using Search Snake throughout the first part of this stage. I'll give Spark Shock some use throughout this stage. I mean, it's not the best weapon, but I would certainly like to give it some screen time. But for now, we'll just stick to using Search Snake. We'll go ahead and switch over to Spark Shock now. It won't get much use, but I will use it some. It's okay for paralyzing those guys and getting by them, but they're really not that hard to take out, you know, whatever you use. Just use Search Snakes for a little while longer. There is one stage enemy that Spark Shock can destroy, and it's those green running grenades. I'll use it later on in the stage to show you guys. But for now, let's just keep on moving. Got a big pit here. I love the Avenging Search Snake that you can shoot into the ground. And it kills the hologram at the top of the screen. Use Spark Shock to take out these guys. That's the only stage enemy that Spark Shock will actually kill. And here we are at the first of the two Doc Robots here in Shadow Man stage. Revisited, of course. And here we have Woodman, who, so long as you can dodge his really tall Leaf Shield, then he's really not that much of a problem. Just stick to using either Search Snakes or Needle Cannon. I prefer Needle Cannon myself. And he'll go down before he can even get to you. As you just seen. I'm going to use Hard Knuckle some now. We got some Hammer Joes coming up, and Hard Knuckle is really good for taking them out. There we go. Just do our usual strategy of shoot and slide and everything. Got a lot of cases with lava in them. I still don't understand the whole idea behind that. Just use Magnet Missiles throughout this area. Totally destroys all the enemies. Gotta be careful of those parachute guys dropping weapon energy or health if you're missing any, because sometimes that might mess up your jump. So I always try to be careful of that. And with that said and done, we are already at our second Doc Robot, who is Heatman. I think that Doc Heatman is a bit trickier than the Mega Man 2 Heatman. For one, sometimes whenever you hit him, he can still get off his fireballs. And other times, whenever you hit him, he won't light himself on fire and do his flame tackle, and that kind of throws me off at times. Overall, though, he's still not that bad, and I think that he's one of the easier Doc Robots myself. And Shadow Man Stage Revisited is now down and out. Next up, I think we'll take out Needle Man Stage Revisited. I really like going back to that stage. It's all nighttime and everything. It's pretty cool. Gemini Laser makes a good weapon for the first little part of the stage. I believe that this stage has more forced rush usage areas than any other stage in the game. As a matter of fact, I'm sure of that. We'll go ahead and get Rush Coil ready. We don't need the Mega Buster throughout this area. We're not allowed to use it with Rush or anything. I went ahead and got Rush ready so that we could see Mega Man in his red and white suit some, because we don't get to see it very often. And go up here, get Gemini Laser ready, because we have a giant Springer up here. Just take it out. Gemini Laser works really well for that. And we have to use Rush Coil 2 more times. Here we go, and right here. We are already just about to our first Doc Robot of this stage. We are going to be fighting Airman. Normally I'd recommend using Magnet Missile, but because Spark Shock won't be getting much use, I'm going to use that instead. Spark Shock doesn't make too bad of a replacement against Airman, though. It's fast moving. I find Doc Airman to be easier than the Airman from Mega Man 2, since you can slide now. It helps with dodging some of the tornado sets. I like the area coming up here just ahead of us. It's a big area that forces you to use Rush Jet. We won't be using the Mega Buster while on Rush Jet, though, like I said earlier. So all we can really do is dodge the enemies, which really isn't not that hard since you have complete free control over this particular Rush Jet. I really do like the whole idea behind this area and being able to use a Rush Jet for such a long period of time. That is, assuming that you're not using the Player 2 trick with the controller where you can just walk into the holes and eventually become Zombie Mega Man. I like kind of the foreshadowing that you see in the first trip through Needleman stage. As you're going through the area with the cannons and all that kind of stuff, you'll see the top part of the 2 mini-bosses from this stage. So that's kind of cool. Get up here to this ladder, and then we will be done using Rush. We'll use Shadow Blade for a little while, just take out this enemy. There we go. I find Shadow Blade works quite well to take out these guys. We'll use Magnet Missile throughout this next area. We have Propeller Mets. I really like all the different kinds of Mets that you see everywhere. It's really cool. Magnet Missile works wonders for this area. And once again, get Shadow Blade ready. There we go. And take this guy out too. We are just about to the second Doc Robot and Needleman stage, which is Crashman. Crashman is actually weak to Hard Knuckle or Top Spin, depending on which one you want to use. However, Needle Cannon doesn't do too bad of damage. It does 2 damage to him, and I like fighting him Mega Man 2 style. Crashman's AI, the Doc Robot Crashman's AI, has been improved from the Mega Man 2 Crashman's AI. He'll occasionally jump on his own and fire a Crash Bomb instead of always jumping whenever you do. So I like that about him. It makes him a little less predictable. But he's still not that tough of a Doc Robot. One of the easier ones for sure. And last but not least, we're going to take on Gemini Man Stage Revisited. One thing that's kind of interesting about Gemini Man's levels is that in the beta version of Mega Man 3, you actually see planets in the background, big ones and little ones. They all look kind of like Saturn. And another thing that's interesting is the ground is also different. It looks like it's made of gravel. I've read that the planets are actually still there, or rather planet, just one of them. is actually still there in the final version of Mega Man 3. It's just kind of cloaked and you can't see it unless you use a level editor. But still, that's kind of interesting. Another thing that I read about a long time ago is that I read that Rush actually had a mode called Rush Drill, which I read that was originally supposed to replace Proto Man for like getting through certain areas in the stages, the areas that he usually would break open for you. But I've also read that it was created mostly just to give you shortcuts. I'm not sure which one is true, but whatever, that's still kind of interesting. Rush Drill, huh. We are just about to our first Doc Robot here in Gemini Man Stage Revisited. We just have to fight our way through some more of these poles. Here's a neat trick. Open up 3 pole eggs, then no more will come out. You can use that to avoid taking damage back there to the left. And here we are at the first Doc Robot in Gemini Man Stage, which is Flash Man. I'd recommend using either Needle Cannon or Gemini Laser. I'm going to use a Needle Cannon myself, since Gemini Laser can't go through the floor and Needle Cannon can. Flash Man, he's a little bit different than he was in Mega Man 2. I think that he's harder for sure, mostly because of the way how the terrain is. That he can get multiple hits in on you if he hits you with his buster and then you get knocked back into him. Got a little forced rush usage area there. Coming up ahead we'll be at a big section that has a lot of water. Some people might think that it's a forced rush usage area, but actually no. It's completely possible to get through here without using rush at all. You just gotta take a big leap into that enemy there and just take small damage as you go through this area and just run for it. By doing that you won't have to use rush at all throughout this section. And there we go. We're not too much further from the next Doc Robot. The only one that we have left to take out is BOMBMAN. You can either use Shadow Blade or Spark Shock on him. I'm going to use Spark Shock so that it can get more screen time. Got a little area here with a bunch of these wall crawlers, ladder crawlers, whatever. Just keep on moving. We'll go ahead and switch over to Spark Shock now. There we go, paralyze these guys and just make our way through here. Another thing that's interesting about Mega Man 3 is that the little hallway between the 2 gates here, while it looks like there's water there, there actually isn't any, which is why you see a splash as soon as you enter that room. It's actually completely possible to kill yourself before the battle even starts if you jump through the gate and keep going up into those spikes. Kinda funny, I guess. Doc BOMBMAN isn't too hard. Pretty much just spam the Spark Shock and he'll go down. With that said and done, all the Doc Robot levels are now over, and it's time to battle BREAKMAN, who is just Proto Man in disguise, really. However, no weapons whatsoever will hurt him, so we gotta use some Buster. That's alright, though. We haven't used it anywhere else besides a Needle Man, so, may as well give the Buster a little bit of screen time since we had no other choice. I like Dr. Light's little IBM computer back there. One thing that kind of disappoints me about Mega Man 3 is how forgiving the game becomes after you've beaten the Doc Robot levels. The Fortress stages are really easy in my opinion. On top of that, they have power-ups everywhere. Energy pellets, weapon capsules, energy tanks, 1-ups, they're all over the place. Still though, they're fun levels and they got great music, so it's not all bad. Still though, I would have liked it if the Fortress stages were a little more difficult. Whatever the case, though, we'll just make our way through it. Use Needle Cannon for this area to take out the gorillas shooting Top Man wannabes. And may as well use Top Spin down here. I like it whenever I can trick these little penguins into swimming up and they go out of the water, so they're just kind of swimming in thin air. Kind of funny, I guess. I'll try to do it to one of the penguins. Let's try it with one of these. There it goes. Just kind of swam up and out of the water and into thin air. If you want to get that 1-up or any items that you'll see behind those type of barriers, you can use Hard Knuckle to break them down. I don't really need any of those items, so we'll just keep on moving. But I will go ahead and use Hard Knuckle some. Take out these Hammer Joes quickly. That's the only enemy that you'll see throughout this section, but it's still kind of fun. There we go. We got a forced rush usage area coming up pretty soon. Right here. So we'll go ahead and do that, get Rush Coil out. And there we go, we're getting ready to come up to the boss. Usually I'd just jump across a couple of Yoku blocks and then slide up to where the giant energy pellets are over there. I think I'm going to do the Yoku blocks normally. There we go. I don't do the Yoku blocks normally in that section very often. Don't know why, I just usually take the upper path with the energy pellets. And here we are at the first fortress stage boss, which is a little machine that shoots out turtles. If you let the turtles live long enough, they'll get rid of their shell, which becomes a bomb that you have to shoot to detonate. Just use either Shadow Blade or Top Spin to take out these turtles in one hit. Very, very easy boss. I always found it kind of weird how some of the turtles that you kill will do more damage to that boss than other turtles. Kind of weird. There's plenty of weapon energy laying around in this stage here, Dr. Wily Stage 2, if you need to refill any weapons. We don't really need to refill any, though. Get Shadow Blades equipped. The boss of this stage, I sometimes use Shadow Blade on him, other times I use Hard Knuckle, and just kind of back and forth. Normally, throughout this area, I would use Rush Jet, but there is a way to avoid using Rush throughout here, so we're going to do so. Gotta let some of those small bees follow you whenever you get up to a bed of spikes, take damage, and run for it. Let those bees continue to follow you so you can continue to use them. Take a hit, run across the spikes, another hit, run across the spikes. You'll collect an energy tank along the way, so don't worry if you go low on health. And there we go, and we are now at the boss of this stage, which is the Yellow Devil. I find this Yellow Devil to be a lot easier than the Mega Man 1 Yellow Devil, even though he has a new attack up his sleeve where he can just warp pretty much his entire body at once across a screen. Not completely in one piece though, but you'll see it. I think the biggest thing that makes this Yellow Devil easier to me is that the little pieces of his body come onto the screen slower. Plus, on top of that, the fortress bosses in this game don't have invincibility frames, so if you're quick about it, you can score in a lot of hits in on him without having to wait for his invincibility frames to wear off, which is why sometimes I prefer Shadow Blade. I'm going to mix it up here a little bit though, use Shadow Blade and Hard Knuckle some. Here's the attack I was talking about where he can warp basically his entire body across the screen. Not really that hard to dodge either. Just a couple more hits and this Yellow Devil will be down and out. Just wait for him to finish warping. He's even easier once his whole body's on the screen after he's warped on for the first time, because you can pretty much see what's getting ready to happen. Yeah, like I said though, I definitely find him easier than the Mega Man 1 Yellow Devil. Dodge this. And final hit. There we go. Dr. Wily Stage 2 is now down and out. I really like the music that's in Dr. Wily Stages 3 and 4 in this game. One of my favorite soundtracks. Or songs, or whatever I mean. Use Shadow Blade to get rid of that guy, and we got Force Rush use right here. You can take either ladder you want, but I'd recommend taking the ladder on the right. Since we used up quite a bit of Hard Knuckle, I'd like to get it refilled some. There we go. I really like the way how this stage looks, too. There's an energy tank up above and some more Forced Rush use. There we go. And call Rush, and up here we go. Normally I'd recommend using Search Snake for this area since it's all dark and it's the more practical weapon, but like I said before, I'd like to give Spark Shock some screen time, even though I personally do think that it is the worst weapon in Mega Man 3. I'll even use it down here on the Bicky enemies. Bicky, whatever. I don't care. And there we go. I really like the idea in this next area with the moving platforms. It's not a hard area or anything, but it is pretty neat. Got one more area like that. I like how this game kind of tried to improve on the fortress bosses from Mega Man 1. You have the Yellow Devil that has the new attack. You have the return of the Mega Man clone, but now it's the Mega Man triplets. I'm guessing that the first fortress boss in this game, that little turtle maker, was supposed to be like a new twist on the bubble boss from Mega Man 1. Kind of an odd twist on it, but whatever. We are now on my favorite stage, and really all the Mega Mans. I really like the boss rematch stages. Fill up some of our weapons here. there we go. We'll use top spin as we go through the rest of this level. Takes out the junk throwing enemies in one hit. There we go. Crack open this surprise tank, see what it's got for us. Energy tank, not bad I guess. And continue to use top spin. One thing that's interesting about the bosses here in Mega Man 3 is that they are all semi-weak to their own weapon. All their own weapons will do 4 damage to them, so just for fun I'm going to fight all the Robot Masters in the boss rematch with their own weapon. I think that that'll be fun to do. We are just about to the rematch room. Right through this teleporter here. And down we go. We'll start off with Hard Man. Right here. His weakness, or his weapon doing good damage to him makes sense, I guess. It's supposed to be like a powerful fist. I guess it puts a dent in his armor or something. Still, he's not too hard even with his own weapon. Just 2 more hits. There we go. Next up, we'll take out Top Man. I think that he's the most dangerous one to fight with his own weapon, because you have to take damage in order to do damage to him, but if you do it right, you'll outlast him no problem. I love how they put exit above the teleporter that you came in, like you don't already know that. Wait for him to get over here. Alright, we'll just land on him over here and take him out. That was pretty fun, I enjoyed doing that. Next up, I think we'll take out Spark Man. And here we go. There's one position that Sparkman gets in where he always gets me if I'm on the left side of the room. And this is it right here. He always gets me with that big spark if I'm on the left side of the room and he lands there. Whatever though. Next up we'll take out Gemini Man. Wait for him to split into 2. Always a fun battle, of course. I really do like the idea of fighting all the Robot Masters with their own weapons, and them taking good damage from them. Just kind of neat, I guess. We'll take out Shadow Man now. I'd almost sometimes say that Shadow Blade might be a better alternative than Top Spin on Shadow Man, since you have to take damage in order to hurt him with Top Spin. Either weapon works pretty good on him, though. We'll take out Magnet Man next. With Magnet Missile, we can get him even if he goes up to the top of the screen to fire Magnet Missiles at us. Still, though, you can't take him out as quickly as you could if you had Spark Shock or Shadow Blade. And next up, we'll take out Needle Man. There we go. And get all up in his face. 7 hits from the Needle Cannon, and he's down and out. Then we only have one more Robot Master to take out, and that's Snake Man. One thing that's interesting is that Snake Man's Search Snakes are better than your Search Snakes. If one of your Search Snakes hits one of his, they'll be bounced off like it's a shield to him almost. They won't do any damage to his Search Snakes. So that's kind of neat. And there we go. Snake Man is now down and out, and it's time to move on. Really, since you're so close to the end of the game, only a couple of weapons need energy in them. You just make sure that Spark Shock, Hard Knuckle, Shadow Blade, and either Top Spin or Search Snake all have good energy, and you'll be just fine throughout the rest of the game. We just have 2 more rounds against Wily, and we will have this game finished. I never really cared for the music that plays in this stage and the next stage, but then again, you only hear them for, what, a total of 10 seconds? So yeah, it's not really that big of a deal. The first battle against Wily down here goes down really easily. Just 8 hits total if you use the right weapons. The first phase of the battle goes down in 4 hits to Spark Shock, and then the second form goes down in 4 hits to Hard Knuckle. For some reason, sometimes whenever you defeat the first phase, the second phase's first shot will glitch onto the left side of the screen. Kinda weird. Not that big a deal though. I kinda like the idea of having a phony Wily, how his head pops off once you defeat him. Kinda neat, I guess. I love how Mega Man will moonwalk to wherever he needs to stand for the cutscene. Watch Wily's head pop off. Another interesting thing about Mega Man 3 is that the song that you hear right now is actually just a small part of a longer song. They could only play just so much of it during the overworld cutscene for the castle. I never really got why they have all these energy pellets and everything everywhere over here. I mean, you just started the beginning of the stage, and if you die, you're going to have full health no matter what, so what the heck? I mean, it doesn't really matter, but still. We're now at the final boss of the game. Just get underneath him, shoot Shadow Blades up, and that's it. Really, really, really easy. From here, just wait for the hand to come out, don't let the spikes hit you. Then jump into him, use top spin, and he's down and out. Easy, easy final boss. For some reason, it always bugs me if I beat a Mega Man game and Mega Man isn't even looking at Wily. Like he's just ignoring him, begging for mercy. Gotta love how Mega Man also gets into place to be crushed. Instead of just standing where he was whenever you beat Wily, he has to get into position to be crushed by a giant block. I kinda like Mega Man 3's ending. I really like how they show all the bosses from Mega Man 1 and actually give them numbers so that they kinda fit in with the number system that was introduced at the end of Mega Man 2 and so on and so forth. The Dr. Wily number robots and all that kind of stuff. Plus, on top of that, I like hearing the extended version of Proto Man's whistle concert or whatever it's called. So that's also neat. There isn't much really going on at the top, but there doesn't really need to be anything going on since all the attention is down at the bottom with the Mega Man 1 Robot Masters. I also like how you can see their mug shots. So it kind of makes up for them not having little mug shots in their stage select pictures like it is in all the other Mega Man games. So yeah, I like that too. I like that they made little mug shots to go with them. I also like how they included Mega Man and Roll in the little notepad for the Mega Man 1 Robot Masters. Of course, I expected Proto Man to be in there since he's just introduced here in Mega Man 3. But still. Number 0, Proto Man, new robot, prototype, brother of Mega Man. Then you see his face in the sky, kinda weird, but whatever. Whenever I was younger, I always thought that was something weird. I never knew what that was. It landed in the tree. I'm pretty sure that it's supposed to be Dr. Wily's spaceship, and it's supposed to be seen like further in the background. It just looks like it lands in the tree. And well, with our Robot Master Weapons only run of Mega Man 3 now concluded, I think that I can safely say that, honestly, I think Mega Man 3 has the worst weapon set in the entire classic series. That's not necessarily a bad thing, because this run was really fun to do, and I do like using, well, all of the weapons, even Spark Shock, even though it's not that great. I like to give it some screen time as well. So yeah, I do like all the weapons, but overall I think that Mega Man 3 has the worst weapon set in the entire series. But that's not saying much because a lot of the weapons are useful in all the Mega Man games. You just gotta know how to use them properly, of course. I mean, even if a weapon isn't exactly useful, it can always still be fun to use. That's always been one of my favorite things in all the Mega Man games, is getting the weapons and using them. I always try to use them as much as I can. I think Mega Man 3 has my favorite styled Mega Man, you know what I mean? I like classic Mega Man with a slide and no charge shot, and that's what Mega Man 3 has. I don't know why, I just don't really use the charge shot that much in Mega Man Classic. I do like it in the X series, which is just kind of weird why I prefer it in the X series but not really in the Classic series. Still though. And well, this concludes our Robot Master Weapons only run of Mega Man 3 for the NES. I hope y'all enjoyed watching it, and you know the drill. Comment, subscribe, and all that. And well, thank you for watching.